La Retreat by Fiona. I was put on this planet to bring happiness to others, basically. Nora is dragging her case through the dinky French airport, following a wolf. It's gazing out from Kiki's fleecy back, above striding, lime green leopard print legs. Kiki is the bringer of happiness. Nora felt she'd only been clinging on to adult life with her fingernails for a while now, having exhausted another boss, another man, another landlord in quick succession. She's decided it's time for a little soul searching. It turns out that what her friends termed eccentric, or more kindly, kooky, didn't cut it in your 40s. Rebalance your chakras. Find wellness in the French countryside, the ad had said. Chakras? Never mind. Available all year round. That clinched it. A retreat sounded positive and focused, something a proper adult would do, instead of holding up in a bed like a wounded animal. Are there many on the retreat? She panted as she caught up with Kiki. She imagined sitting under a fig tree, sharing a bottle and confidences with other women, possibly men, maybe French, yoga-honed, yet philosophical men. Just yow, you and Luki, I should be charging thousands for me one-to-one consultation. Nora hadn't expected such a strong Wolverhampton accent. Yad had breathed wind chimes, not West Midlands. Just me? This sounded like a bleat. I told you it's my purpose to bring happiness. Could be one soul or 100. Kiki waves her hand airily. They leave the outskirts of a dilapidated port behind and drive deeper and deeper into La France Profonde, until they reach a beaten-up farmhouse. The dusty yard seems to reorganise itself, and a cluster of sandy, hairy dogs start yapping into life. Freshen up and we'll concur in the wellness studio at 6 p.m. She indicates a low stone edifice dwarfed by a huge pile of broken concrete. It's time to dial down and find the new you, Moira. We're still improving the studio. The universe is providing, she adds. Day 1. Balancing your chakras. Nora's room has a lot on its mind. Above the cacophony of coral satin, the mantelpiece shouts, "Be your best self." Home is where the heart is, counters the bedstead. There's barely a moment to drop her case before it's time to address her chakras. I'm poised on the threshold of a new me, breathes Nora as she heads out. Kiki is sitting cross-legged in the freezing outhouse. It's an old building, maybe a milking parlour or an abattoir. Every beam of the creaking old structure sports a stickered message. Refresh and revitalise, it says. Chakra healing is a holistic, non-invasive, vibrational, energy-based system of healing, intones Kiki, replacing her Midland twang with a sing-song mid-Atlantic drawl. That is, it treats the whole person as an integrated energy system. You can Google it if you don't believe me. She turns on an archaic French butane heater, pulls down a screen, and switches on a PowerPoint. Let's start with your brain. A ladybird illustration of the brain appears on screen. This is what started me on the path to wellness, the brain. I was living in Wolverhampton. Oh, I was living the high life, let me tell you. Porsche 911 Carrera in the drive, hubby with his own haulage firm. A tangerine Porsche appears incongruously on the screen. Paulie, that's me ex. You can keep your oldies in Barbados, your kitchen island small bone. I need to find me. Well, we've all been there, haven't we? Well, actually, I haven't quite been there, ventures Nora. I don't even have a car, let alone, but this was lost as the chapter titled Separation and Finding My True Self materialises. The butane heater ticks. Outside, the countryside exhales in a mellow afternoon. Cicadas chirrup. A man whistles tunelessly. Nora glimpses the world outside through a swathe of satin over a deep-set window. She envies their freedom to move, to whistle, not to listen. Back in the overheated wellness centre, Kiki has reached the apotheosis of her divorce. Nora stretches a stiff leg as the epic self-discovery of one half of Wolverhampton's power couple continues unabated. She feels as edgy as a squirrel trapped in a train carriage, late for a meeting. Kiki, she croaks, could we take a break? Kiki pouts, irritated by the interruption. That's just your self-sabotaging behaviour. Where was I? The court? Yes. I said to the judge, I won't be silenced. Nora pictures the beige furnishings of a Midlands courtroom, a wary judge and clerks, and feels sorry for everyone involved. Hours pass, and Kiki's outline has dissolved, her voice disembodied. Nora wonders if she's hallucinating. But no, it has got dark. At last, it's back to the farmhouse. There, a mute elderly man on a sofa is strewn under the half-buried, sandy, hairy dogs who decorated the yard. An 80-year-old version of Kiki is serving up Finder's crispy pancakes, while BBC Midlands blares from an enormous TV screen. It's Wolverhampton in CinemaScope. We have a spot of colon trouble, offers Kiki brightly. Who could she mean? The dogs? No, it turns out to be Kiki Maman, Mumsy. It's not a conversation she wants to have, but at least it's not Kiki's colon. It started with the GP told me in 2012 after the divorce. Mumsy mouths the last word. Nora knows it will be a long meal. Here it seems troubles are shared. A bowel, a divorce, a realisation, all are one, and all must be divulged, not a detail spared. Nora's troubles, colonic or otherwise, remain unexplored. Day 2, and it's Christology, which starts with some sketchy stuff about Incas, but leads inexorably to Kiki's remarkable gem-fueled powers. Drifting off is not an option. Various verbal tugs prevent this. Are you with me? You get it? Nora wonders if Haute Ventouse has a joke shop, and if it sells those glasses with staring eyes painted on. One monosyllable in the purling stream of words that fills the room and threatens to engulf her jolts Nora upright. The word is fast. It has been decreed that she must fast to focus and clear her meridians. Didn't she pay for meals? It will help to flush toxins, both mental and colonic, from her damaged, sceptical, self-sabotaging body. I'll be fasting with you, adds Kiki piously. It gives me a feeling of lightness and spirituality. As they trudge out of the wellness centre, an old man is ambling past, a dog trotting at his heels. Whoa, Claude, hold up, Kiki cries. He looks alarmed, hunches down into his collar and scuttles on. Well, someone's in a hurry. Kiki, eyes narrowing. Day 3. Dancing your dark into the light. It's early. In the ashy light, the toads are croaking loudly in the pond. Nora wonders if they're edible. She hasn't slept. The satin quilt was hot and gave off nylon sparks, plus she's already hungry. It's quite a lot of darkness for Nora to dance today. Some is directed towards herself for choosing this retreat, some towards ex-lover and ex-boss, but most, it has to be said, is directed towards Kiki. She's sitting cross-legged in silence as she enters the grimy wellness centre. Without opening her eyes, she indicates a cushion. It has a picture of a pug on it. Dance like no one's watching, says the pug. But the apostrophe's missing. Punctuate like no one's reading. Says a voice in Nora's self-sabotaging head. Kiki is squinting at a pile of plastic wallets, each illustrating what look like solo ambulatory Kama Sutra. Kiki brings up her hand like a dog begging and begins high-stepping round the room. This is a dreadful prospect for Nora, deprived of alcohol, darkness or cover, just exposed as an uncoordinated prancer. Faster! Faster! Shouts Kiki. The words on the wall blur as Nora, half crazed with hunger and butane flames, whir about. Live like no one. Heal, restore, laugh, best, dream, love, love. How did I end up here? Trapped in the middle of nowhere, miles from a bus or train, an unwilling apostle in a personality cult. Why can't I leave? And suddenly, Nora is 7 years old, unable to put up her hand to ask the maths teacher if she can be excused. And we know how that ended. Sodden woolly tights and a shameful plastic bag. Ooh! The thought makes her splutter. Kiki stops mid-prance and her eyes swivel. I think it's funny. That's your dark side trying to sabotage the healing process. She thrusts her face close. That's a real problem for you, isn't it? Don't think I can't see, that I can't see the nasty, cynical one. We need to beat her down. Who's the boss, eh? The lazy Nora who doesn't want to cleanse her chakras or dance the darkness? The one who can't listen to the lessons from someone who knows what's best for her? Who's the boss? Who's the boss? She crows. You are? Triumph glints in her eye. She thrusts her face close. No, you are the boss of lazy Nora, who can't dance or go a few hours without checking her phone or stuffing her face. Are those crumbs around your mouth? You've been eating. What have you eaten? Nora squeaks. Am I hypoglycemic? She says, turning away. Hypo? Was the first I've heard of it, and I should know. I've had a complete medical history from the whole family. Not to mention the daily news flash from Colon Central in there. She indicates the farmhouse kitchen. A cloud passes Kiki's face. She's gone too far. But it's too late. Silence. Dust sparkles. A blade of light illuminates the restore, reheal sign and a crack running the length of the wall. I'm going to put it down to your toxins, she sniffs. It's not toxins! I think you'll find. Nora has the pug cushion in her hand and she is wringing the life out of it. It's you, Kiki! I'm tired of satting, stupid messages everywhere and hearing about divorces and Porsches and bowels. No one asks about my bowels or that matter. And you and anything else, arms crossed. No one's has an apostrophe in it. She looks down at the offending pug, and so does your. I see. You must be glad now you got that off your chest. We welcomed you into our own, and this is what we get. Nora feels as if she's kicked a puppy. There's only one thing to do. At dawn, a fairy tale mist hangs over the pond and its sleeping toads. A woman emerges. She swears as a door creaks noisily behind her. 8 kilometres away in a sleepy haute ventouse, a man is rattling up the shutters on his dusty little bar to back, sluicing fag ends from the pavement. Her face is sheened with sweat when she arrives, her suitcase and lower legs floury with dust. 3 workers stand silently over coffees and tiny brandies. They view her sans greeting, sans interest. Le proprieteur lifts his chin in question and mild contempt, but without dislodging the cigarette in the corner of his mouth. Eh bien. Un café? He plonks down a tiny cup of tar, coffee so potent it practically growls, and goes back to reading Loire Atlantique. Silence. No words, no analysis. She checks the walls. They do not ask her to be her best self. She sips it in silence, scolding, rich, bitter and dissolute, the lifeblood of a tired woman, and resolutely unimprovable.